watch a ton of new stuff this week. A few things. So on Paramount Plus, I watched the newest Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Part
Oh,
One.
brutal,
Although,
man. That's a
although,
nice name. Mhm.
yeah, it's a long, unwieldy title, but like the movie, like I thought the movie was okay. Like I'm not like a uber fan of the franchise, but I've watched. Oddly enough, I think I've watched all of them except the very first one that was like all the way back in the '90s or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe at some point I should watch that. And, it's. I thought it was fun enough, but I don't think it did very well in the theaters. So, like,
Mm.
even though this one's called Dead Reckoning Part One, like the rumor is like the next one probably won't be called Dead Reckoning Part Two. Like they'll just like change it to something else and like probably eventually like rename this one just Dead Reckoning instead of the Part One.
Okay. Hmm.
Um, but I mean, it doesn't leave on like a really like brutal cliffhanger or something. Like it definitely sets up that there's going to be more story, but it's not like, oh, Tom Cruise just like fell off a cliff without a parachute. How is he going to get out of this one? It's not nothing like that. So um, I feel like all these Mission Impossible movies, though, like even though like they have like these far out technologies and stuff. There's always one or two things in these movies that make you roll your eyes a little bit and be like, okay, that's a bit
Yeah.
over the top, even for one of these movies. But
So Tom Cruise is still the star of these movies?
he is, yeah, still doing it.
Man, he's going strong, dude. Like he's got to be like up there, right?
Yeah, he's drinking that baby blood. Yeah, I don't. He's got to be. He's got to be pushing 60 by now, I would think.
Right? Yeah.
Late
Maybe they're pumping out
50s.
all these movies before he gets really old, so they're like, just make as many as we can before he gets to 70.
I do kind of wonder about that. If that was maybe even his thing is like, because I gotta imagine like he wants to kind of do like some smaller roles again, but he's probably like, man, I gotta make hay while the sun's shining. So I'll jam in all these action movies while I'm still young enough to do them.
He's got to be worth like a fortune. I don't know why he needs the money. Like, I think him, Robert Downey Jr., like Keanu Reeves. I know Keanu Reeves, like he doesn't even seem like he's worth a fortune like that, but he's worth over $400 million. I mean, I think of him as like Bill and Ted, and like like yeah, he's done a lot of blockbusters, Point Blank, no, Point Break, Speed, obviously John Wick. He did that 47 Ronin movie. But I don't know. I didn't think $400 million was the number. That's huge, man.
Oh yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He's like a mega star. Yeah, he's been in
Yeah.
so many like big franchises, The Matrix and John Wick just by themselves. Uh,
Matrix, yes. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, Tom Cruise. I mean, I gotta hand it to him. Like, the only bad thing about Tom Cruise is like he's the one propping up Scientology, which is like this like terrible cult, this
Cult,
terrible
yeah.
thing to anyone who dares try to leave the, you know,
Like how powerful are they? Like the government can't even investigate missing people in their organization.
it's pretty crazy. And like from what I understand too, they've bought up like a huge amount of properties to the point where
Mm.
like people are like, what are they doing with these properties? You know what I mean?
And
Yeah, it's
I think the
interesting.
Mormon church is like that too. Like they have a ton of money like saved up. I think they own a lot of like, banking firms and stuff like that. So yeah, man, that's nuts. I mean, these are like non-tax organizations that can just make so much money, man. Then they become businesses and they're just not taxed, I guess.
Well, Leah Remini from The King of Queens, like, she used to be big into Scientology
Yeah.
and then she left and she's done like some exposés on like, leaving Scientology.
But that's
And
because her parents were into it, so she kind of got brought into it, right? Like they forced her into it.
quite possibly, I didn't actually watch the show, so I know kind of
Okay.
just like the basics,
Uh,
but I remember like hearing a quote from her that like she's like Tom Cruise could probably single handedly bring down Scientology like if he flipped and was
Mhm.
like, if he ever flipped like she did,
Yeah.
um, it, she's like, he could probably bring down like the whole religion, basically. That's
Yeah, I'm
how
sure he
important.
could, yeah, for sure. He's, like, the most popular member of it, and he's a powerful member of it. Um, I think also John Travolta is a member of it?
I think, yeah, I think at least he's been associated with it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how much of Hollywood is involved with that, like, it seems like a money-making scheme too, so it might be, like, something that they invest in that way.
I want to say there was several actors from that '70s show that were caught up in it.
I know, Isaac Hayes, he left South Park when they did that Scientology
That's
episode because
right.
he was
Yeah, that's
offended.
right.
Yeah. Huh. They really did him dirty, the chef. They made him, like, a at the end and, like, he himself when he died or something, I'm not sure, something like that.
Right.
They really did him dirty.
Yeah. I mean,
And they use, like,
it
old
is
clips,
crazy
so it
though.
sounded so out of place. Old audio clips.
Oh, I mentioned Leah Remini. One thing I've been watching, which is not new at all, but I got Peacock and I was trying to find stuff to watch, and they have the King of Queens on there, so I like started rewatching the King of Queens. And I gotta say,
Yeah,
maybe I'm just nostalgic for like late '90s, early 2000s sitcoms, but I'm really
yeah.
enjoying that show.
Yeah, I used to I think it was, like, a fun show to watch after school, it was something to put on. Uh, it was better than Everybody Loves Raymond, that's for sure, like,
Oh, see,
yeah.
I put Raymond at the top. I love
Really?
everybody. Yeah, Raymond is.
Okay.
I love that show. But
I
King of
like the
Queens, man,
hijinks
it's
of
up
Kevin
there.
James. Mhm.
Yeah, actually, I forget because King of Queens was a spin-off of Everybody Loves Raymond. And like there's
Oh,
already been like several episodes where like Raymond like guest starred, and I'm like, man, I didn't remember him like guest starring like so much on King of Queens, but he does several times.
so, like, was it spin-off because I saw an episode where he met Kevin James, like, they started hanging out, became friends. Did it
Yeah,
spin off from that?
so I believe there's an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond where maybe Kevin James is his like UPS man or something like that,
Mhm.
and then yeah, eventually like the King of
Oh,
Queens
okay.
spin off from there.
Oh, I didn't know that, okay. I thought it was just a crossover episode, I didn't realize it was a spin-off, okay.
Well, I don't know if at that point like they had like his whole name and character and stuff worked out, because on actually in the first King of Queen episodes where Ray guest stars, like that's where they first meet. So like I don't know exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, it spun off from there. But yeah, really fun show. I'm really enjoying it.
I've had so
Rewatching.
many, like, comfort shows throughout the years, like, I'd watch after school and stuff. It used to be, like, Cheers when I was younger. Gilligan's Island was a favorite when I was really young. Um, there was a time where it was, like I think Becker was one of them. Uh, there were so many shows, like, TGIF shows, like, Full
Oh
House, Family Matters, of course.
yeah,
Step by Step was okay, I thought.
right. Yeah, we watched
Um,
that. Yeah.
uh, let's see. There was also New Girl that was more recent. I liked that show a lot too when I was younger, like, in my 20s. Um, there was a time when I was in my early 20s, like, I think I was, like, 21 or something, I'm not sure, but I used to watch maybe 23, 24. I watched Zack and Cody a lot for some reason, like, I think a lot of people did. It was just a show that everybody I used to watch it with my friends who were also in their 20s.
Oh really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta admit, I missed out on the the Zach and Cody era.
the hijinks of those 2 brothers, yeah.
It is weird though, like when you're in your 20s and you happen to catch like a Nickelodeon show or something like that, and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be designed for teenagers, but I'm enjoying it enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also watched Drake and Josh around that time period also, like, I think it was just a nostalgia thing because I grew up watching, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark and, like, that slime show, whatever it was, I watched a lot of Nickelodeon and some Disney when I was a kid, so, like, it was just nostalgic, I guess.
remember
I
that
I
Nick?
feel weird watching it now, though.
Remember that Nickelodeon show Guts? where they like competed like
Is that the
and
one I'm talking with the slime? Did they slime you at the end?
there might have been slime on that one, but I just remember they had that like
Oh,
wall that
Guts. Guts is where they
y-
did it outside. They had the competitions outside, right?
yeah, they had like the aggro crag or whatever they called that thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Those seem so fun.
yeah.
Uh,
And then there
I
was
always
what was
wanted
it?
to.
Was it Double Dare? They slime people on there.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, that was Double
Yeah,
Dare. Yeah. With
yeah.
Mark Stone.
As kids, man, we watched the hell out of those shows.
And then there was Legends of the Hidden Temple. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, yeah. Man, that's nostalgic right there.
for sure. Yeah.
I also on Peacock watched Oppenheimer,
Okay.
which it's kind of I feel exactly like I knew I would feel about it, which is it's from a technical perspective like very well done. It's like it's Christopher Nolan, so it's well directed. All the acting's good. Um, but at the same time, it's like one of those one and done movies. Like it's nothing I would ever watch twice. It's I watched it and I
Mm.
was like, yeah, that was a fair movie. But I don't know, but biopics have just never been really my thing. Even the well done ones like this, I'm like, yeah, once is enough.
Yeah, I hear you. I haven't even been interested in watching it, to be honest. Like, it just seems like it'd be a boring movie about one guy, his struggle, and like I guess creating a bomb that's very destructive and maybe goes against his beliefs or something. Am I on point? I don't even know the synopsis of the movie, but is that similar to what it is?
But that's basically it. And like, listen, the movie's like 3 hours long,
Oof. Yeah.
and for the most part, it's just scenes of people talking in rooms. But um, so it's one of those things you kind of got to be in the mood for. But look, it's well done. It's just like it's
I
a
mean,
one
that's
and done.
mostly what The Godfather is too, right? Like it's mostly just people standing around talking. That's well done
Right.
too. So I enjoyed that movie a lot.
I mean, you do get a couple Florence Pugh nude scenes, so
Oh,
if
nice.
that
Yeah.
there's a little something for you to keep your interest.
What's her name in Marvel?
Is it Yelena?
Yelena. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She
Something
doesn't have
like
like a comic name.
I believe in the comic books she becomes White Widow, but I don't know if
Okay.
in the MCU I don't know if they've referred to her as that
No,
yet.
not yet. I don't think. Yeah, the White Widow being nude.